We came as close as we will ever hopefully get to complete obliteration of humankind, because we were about to have an all-out nuclear conflagration. Kennedy convenes this executive committee of generals, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, and their various aides. The interesting thing is that that executive committee unanimously recommends immediate military action. They recommend airstrikes, and they recommend an invasion. Kennedy and his brother both say, no, we don't want to go there. And at that moment in time, Kennedy comes forward with the idea of the quarantine, which is the same thing as the blockade, although we don't call it a blockade because the blockade is officially an act of war. Kennedy is very cautious at this point. He actually lets the first few Soviet boats go through the blockade because he's not sure the word has yet come down the line of command, and he doesn't want to provoke an incident that might be cataclysmic. Khrushchev then pulls the ships back. The crisis goes on, and there is a continuing focus on military action by the executive committee until there comes the day before the end of the crisis when a U-2 spy plane flown by an American is shot down over Cuba with the American pilot killed, at which point the demand for military action becomes almost irrefutable on the part of everyone there on the executive committee. At that moment in time, Kennedy stands up and says, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And at the same time, you have two letters coming in from Khrushchev. One is a rambling, free association kind of letter, which says, neither one of us can stand to have the world come to an end because of this crisis. We will withdraw our missiles from Cuba, et cetera, et cetera. And the second one of which is written by the Politburo and is much more demanding and official and bureaucratic. Under Bobby Kennedy's advice, Kennedy takes the course of saying, I'll accept the first letter, we will have you withdraw the missiles from Cuba, we will have peace, we will promise never to invade Cuba. Now, the importance of this is basically that, as we now know, we did not know then, did not know until the 1990s, not only were there missiles being installed in Cuba, there were missiles that were operational in Cuba. They were ready to fire, 160 of them. Not only that, by some act of complete insanity, Khrushchev had given local commanders the authority to fire those weapons if they were attacked. So what we have is a situation where Kennedy basically decides that it is not worth it to do this given the risk involved, and it is so important to find a way out of this. And as I view this, it really goes back to the letters he writes to Inga Arvid in 1943 about having to know firsthand just how much people want to live and how important it is to realize that what we are really talking about is worth the sacrifice that we're going to demand of people.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.